I don't feel sorry for you. I just say, you know what? You felt you were old enough. Now it's time to step up and deal with it. Be a dad. Go get a job. I'll pat you on the back in the sense of, it's okay, man. I know you're upset, but the reality is you slept with your girlfriend. Now, in the Corinthian church, part of the problem was there were so many new people, they just didn't know. They didn't know any better, right? So when we look out at the world and we see them, this is very normal practice. I had sex before I was ever married. But I wasn't saved, right? And I didn't know anything about God. So it's just normal practice, right? I think I was 16, something like that. And that's very, very normal out in the world. But we got to remember, they don't know. Like nowadays, the parents are more just protect yourself. Like, we don't want babies. Just protect yourself, and that's all you need to do. Son, if you're going to do that with a girl, just make sure you cover it up, right? And that's the way of the world. They teach us in school. But here's the difference. Christians, you know better. You know better. That's why I love Mark Driscoll's book, Porn Again Christians, because he's talking about all the Christians that are addicted to porn and addicted to sex and having sexual relations with their girlfriends when they should know better. So, here's the big question. How do we function intimately in a dating relationship? Because the Bible says no. The Bible says no. You cannot have sex. So now here's the big question. How do we function intimately in a dating relationship? In other words, what's allowed? That's always the big question I get. Well, what can I do? Can I kiss? Can I do other things? And so on and so forth. No. Time to go. Honestly, no. The Bible says no. Period. Remember what Paul said? Sexual immorality is even you lusting. When a girl walks by, Jesus says this, when a girl walks by, and you lust for her, sexual immorality, adultery is what Jesus calls it. Did you know that it's actually biblical for you to not kiss your husband or wife until they are your husband or wife? It's funny, because as Christians, we will push that limit, right? We think that intimacy, that sexual relations is sex, the actual act of sex. Well, whether it's oral or the regular way, sex is sex. It's still sex. If it involves sexual organs, it's sex. Period. So, we're going to rule out all of that stuff. All of that stuff we're going to rule out. Literally, the Bible says all of that stuff, no. Now, for many reasons. One, because, come on. You get into the intimate stage of that, you're like making out for like 4 hours on the couch kind of thing. Tell me you're not getting worked up, and tell me you are not thinking with the right head. You are going to do stupid things. The Bible says that you are not to put yourself in any situation that would cause you to fall. You're putting yourself in a situation that causes you to fall. Kissing. We got to be able to kiss, right? I read in Health magazine, I found this in the washroom. While praying. And it was amazing. It was totally God. I'm like sitting there praying, and I look down, there's a Health magazine. I'm like, yeah, I need to lose some weight. I wonder if they have anything, and I'm paging through it. And it had a whole section on kissing. And it talked very highly of kissing. It says this. Listen to this. Kissing relieves stress by releasing mood-elevating endorphins in the brain. Kissing makes you happy. Yes. It burns 2 calories per minute. Yes, that's my way. That's how I'm going to lose weight. This is cool, girls. You're going to like this. Hollywood should look at this. It firms the muscles in your face, which makes it cheaper than a facelift. And did you know that swapping saliva with someone actually boosts your immune system? Because it helps the body bolster its defenses. So swapping spit with someone is actually healthy. And it's just fun. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It also talks about kissing being one of the most intimate things in sexual relationship, in a relationship that you could possibly have. A lot of prostitutes, because I know so many, a lot of prostitutes, I actually do know some, but a lot of prostitutes, not because I'm buying them, a lot of prostitutes will refuse to kiss their client because that's too intimate. That's too close to someone, kissing them. They will do sex and any other act that they're asked to do, but they will not kiss. There was a movie about it. Pretty Woman. Yeah, there you go, right? It was a big deal when they actually kissed. We are notorious today to having like wicked makeout sessions for hours, and we think that that's okay. But really what's happening is we're working ourselves up and we're causing problems. We're making it closer to fall, and that includes kissing. Because when you kiss somebody, you're drawing intimately in with them. You're getting passionate with each other. I mean, kissing is really something special. It's really fun. It releases mood endorphins. It makes you happy. It does all of those things. But we see it as such a harmless thing. Now, I'm not talking about like the pecks on the cheeks. I'm talking about like the down going at it kissing, right? Like the making out sessions that teenagers have that are completely a waste of time. A guy that I know and respect an awful lot that married my wife's best friend had never kissed her until he married her. When they said you may kiss the bride, he had never kissed her. And you want to know why? Not because he thought kissing was evil. The Bible doesn't say that kissing is evil. It's not saying that you can't kiss. Go ahead, kiss. I don't care. What it is saying, though, is that if that tempts you for more, it's now bad. It's a simple concept here, right? Yeah. Yeah, totally. The big thing that you got to keep in your mind is, does that want you to take that further in a sense that you cannot withstand that you're going to make mistakes, that you're going to drive forward, and that things are going to get a little bit too passionate and you're going to go too far. That's really what the Bible's saying, is just simply, I mean, it's ruled out the act of sex. And like I defined sex as anything that involves the sexual organs. I don't care what you're doing with it. Anything that involves that is sex, okay? So ruling that out, being intimate with somebody as in hugging or kissing, the only reason you would need to rule it out of your life, and this is something you have to discern for yourself, is simply this. Is it possible that it might cause you to fall? Now, especially if it's two Christians dating, you should be able to understand that. So let's get a little bit deeper into this, a little bit more practical. This is probably one of the most practical messages so far in this series, is simply that one big question: how do we function intimately in a dating relationship? The problem is our whole cultural view of what intimacy is. We automatically make it about sex. But intimacy really doesn't have a whole lot to do with sex. Like, I can be so much more intimate with somebody in a relationship if I'm just spending time getting to know them. Remember how I said that is Christian dating, right? I talked about courting, and that is what my kids will do, that somebody wants to date my daughter, they are coming to meet me first, okay? And then I'm going to decide whether they're going to go out or not. But after they go out, I've given that guy permission to go get to know my daughter. That is them getting to know each other. There is nothing more intimate than pouring your heart out to somebody, than letting your guard down, because remember, we're all a bunch of fakers. Some of you weren't at that message, but where we all put that mask on and we're all trying to be who we aren't. But when you actually drop that mask and you actually start to be yourself and you actually start to get to know each other intimately, there's nothing more passionate and more intimate than when you let that guard down and you get to know each other. That's Christian dating with intimacy. You see, I don't sit around with each one of you guys and let every one of you deep into my life. But when I met Carrie and I started to get to know her, she was the one that I let into my life and began to get intimate with.